Hey, welcome. We often hear the words faith and belief thrown around like they're the same thing. But what if they're not? What if one is like trying to build your life on shifting sand, while the other is like building on solid rock? Today, we're going to unpack that exact difference. And honestly, it might just change the way you see your own spiritual foundation. So, let's just jump right in. Are faith and belief the same deal? For a lot of people, this isn't just about word games. This confusion can be a real roadblock. A spiritual struggle that just kind of hangs there. And look, this is a real thing. The author of our source material here actually talks about how this exact struggle, this deep discomfort with the whole idea of blind faith, was so powerful that it pushed them completely away from religion, for decades even. It just goes to show you how much is riding on getting this right. Okay, so to help us get our heads around this, we're going to lean on this really powerful metaphor from the Gospel of Matthew. It's all about building a house, your life, your spirit, on a foundation so solid that no storm, no matter how crazy, can knock it down. But what is that rock? Let's figure it out. So first things first, let's talk about faith, because the big idea from our source material is that most of us have probably got the whole process completely backward. Right, so many of us know this definition of faith from Hebrews. It's beautiful, for sure, but it's often presented as step one, isn't it? Like it's this blind leap you have to take before anything else can even start. But what if that's not it at all? And here it is. This is the big twist our source gives us. Faith isn't the preparation for the journey, it's the result. It's not the starting line, it's the trophy you get at the end. It's the destination you arrive at after you've done the work. So, of course, that begs the question, right? If faith is the outcome, the final product, then what's the preparation? What's the stuff you build that faith on top of? And the answer, at least according to our source, is belief. And we're not talking about some watered-down version of faith here. We're talking about the essential, rational groundwork that real, solid faith is actually built on. So this is absolutely crucial. Belief, in this view, isn't blind at all. It's called an intellectual asset. It's what happens when a sound mind actually thinks through the doubts, weighs the evidence, and finds real answers. It's a process of examination, not just blind acceptance. But, and this is a really big but, our source makes it clear that not all belief is created equal. See, it's not enough to just say you believe something. The quality of that belief, well, that's what decides if you're building on sand or solid rock. And this chart just lays out the two paths so clearly. On one side, you've got dishonest belief. This is stuff you accept without really thinking, maybe because of social pressure or even fear. It leaves you feeling kind of empty. But then you have honest belief. That's something you've earned, something you forged through real deep examination. And that leads to a genuine inner conviction. Okay, so what happens once you have that solid, honest belief? Where do you go from there? This is the final piece of the puzzle, where that belief actually turns into the very action we call faith. So here's the whole roadmap. See, it doesn't start by pretending you don't have doubts. It starts by facing them head-on with your mind. From there, you form an honest belief. And once that belief is truly yours, it grows into this deep conviction. And that conviction, well, it almost has to lead to action. You can't help it. And that action, the act of living out what you are now so convinced of, that is faith. All right, let's bring it all home now. Let's go back to that house metaphor we started with and see how these two different kinds of belief end up building two very different kinds of houses. And this table just spells it all out, doesn't it? If your foundation is dishonest belief, built on fear or just going with the flow, the outcome is a weak faith. That is the house on the sand, just waiting for the first big storm to come and knock it over. But if your foundation is honest belief, built on real, rational conviction and inner acceptance, the result is a strong, unshakable faith. That's your house built on solid rock. So look, if there's one thing to take away from our entire explainer today, it's this. True, resilient faith isn't a command to just switch off your brain. It's the exact opposite. It's the natural result of using your mind to think deeply, to think honestly, and to think rationally until you arrive at a conviction so powerful that it just has to change the way you live. And that really just leaves us all with one final question to think about. When you really look at your own life, your own convictions and your own actions, what is your foundation built on? Is it sand or is it rock? Thanks so much for joining us.